Good morning, traders. It's Trader Rob. Today is Thursday, September 11th. Day 8 of our 30-day challenge here. And we just had an absolute beautiful day of trading yesterday. All wins on the mechanical strategies. I think went yesterday 4 for 4. And I took 2 A+ setups yesterday on the discretionary side, both winners. So the mechanical strategies came back, and I said that they would, that they usually have this way of kind of one balances out the other, and they usually end up doing pretty good. So I came on the charts here this morning at about 5:30. I was up pretty early this morning, and sometimes it's hard to see when your setups all hit, at nighttime, and you're kind of kicking yourself, but you can't be in front of the charts all the time. I had this setup that I was looking at that I was talking to you guys about at the 23,927. And as you can see, we tapped into that at about 2:45 in the morning. Very little drawdown, came right back and tapped into our TP1 and TP2. So that one kind of stunk, and I believe, was there another one over here? Yeah, this guy, the 23,812. This was closer to the closing bell yesterday, wasn't on the charts. You would have gotten into an entry right there at the 23,812, and tapped into TP1. I think I missed TP2 here, probably by a point. We got a ton of high impact news. Actually, market just hit. Wow, what a big spike to the downside. Holy moly. But yeah, we've got this morning. We had, there's an OPEC report that comes out at 7, but that's tentative. I'm not sure if that one already came out. ECB rate statement was at 7:15, but the big one is the U.S. initial jobless claims and CPI at 7:30, and you could obviously see the markets just reacting pretty crazy. But I'm not trading in during that anyways. So let's see what we can map out here on the ES, the NQ. Take a look at our stats from yesterday and see what we can get today right after the intro. As always, nothing that I state on my channel is financial advice. Trading futures or any type of trading is risky business. Any capital that is put out there is at risk for loss. All right, so let me just pull up our funding ticks, funded accounts, our dashboard here. So as you guys can see, if we take a look at this account here is dedicated strictly to the rule-based, mechanical-based strategies in gold, which is up here, oil, and then the 15-minute Rob reversal, which the 15-minute Rob reversal yesterday had two beautiful wins, 35 points and 35 points. So again, it had a great day yesterday. This account I think was down about $280 before the beginning of yesterday's trading session. And yesterday came back positive $217. So that one, that really helped out that strategy. As far as myself, my discretionary, let me just show you guys, I'm sorry. This is the dashboard for the mechanical rule-based strategy. You can see yesterday took 4 trades, all winners, $217 it made yesterday. As far as the discretionary side, which is how I trade my volume-based strategy with my levels, yesterday we were able to make $108 when you subtracted commissions from there, and that account is up $395 from the beginning of the challenge. And again, that's only trading 5 micros. So all right, let's take a look at what let's start with the ES first. Let's get rid of these guys, clean up our chart here a little bit. All right, let's jump into the 60. Let me just make sure we got got this. I had a restart, so this is all right. All right, so we've been talking about this entry down here for a couple of days. I don't think I need to go into it again, but we're looking for an entry at 64.85, targeting 64.87 and 90, just based on profile and where volume is stacking up. So we'll take a look at that. No real big changes in the volume profile as of right now. Obviously, we got a big band right here. We've got a big band right here, and that's generally where I'm looking to take some trades at. So let's jump into the 15-minute, and let's see if we can find any levels. And again, if you're interested in learning how I come up with the levels, I have a video that's linked in the description below that shows you how exactly I come up with my levels each and every morning. And if you also go into, if you join my Discord, each and every morning I give my 15-minute and my 5-minute levels that I know people really enjoy. So we had a level right here. Let me just pop that in. But as you can see, the market already just, just tapped into that. It was obviously a really nice, that was a nice level. But again, with high impact news, it's a little tough. We would have had a level right here as well. That just got swept, so not interested in that. But we do have a level right there. As you can see, the market was, what I'm looking for is like these V's. So the V's, I'm looking for something in the market that caused price to completely go in the opposite direction. And I like to put my lines where the where the two bodies intersect at the most bottom part, not including the wicks. So that's how I come up with my levels. So I believe that that should be it. We got another level right here. Nice movement up, broke structure. And I could say we got another level right here at the 64.98, 65.13, 65.25. All right, let's go to the 5-minute now, and let's see what we can find here. All right, let's see. All right, based on the volume profile, we're in a kind of a low node here on this level. It does peak out right here, but not an area I'm interested in. I would like to see things in the higher volume areas. So as of right now, this one to me is not interesting. The 65.13 and the 64.98, I want to see some more information, because this 65.13 is an area where volume started to increase. If we're looking for a long, we want to see this exact type of descending volume profile that is pushing to the outside, where we can take an entry at one of the peaks and then have a nice, easy, very little resistance to get to our TP1. And then we're looking for a volume buffer. I call it a line of defense to find for our stop loss. So now that I've got two levels that I'm interested on the 15-minute, these are my 15 minutes. Now what I'd like to do is I'd like to refine it on the volume profile and see where I can find an entry. So I would prefer my entry to be right here at the tip of this volume profile. As far as a TP on a trade like this, you can easily make a case for probably the top part of that and right here. So a lot of volume sitting right here, needs to get rebalanced. And then this is an area right here that it's just free flowing, very, very little resistance. My only issue at this point would be my stop loss. My stop loss, I think, would have to be placed somewhere in this vicinity. Okay, so I get this protection of the volume profile that's sticking out. Okay, so I would want the reaction to be at the 65.17. I want easy take profits, which I have found. And then I would like to refine my stop loss. Now that stop loss is about 8 points. 7. Yeah, it's okay. I can work with this. So let me change this now to red, dotted, This tells me it's a setup I'm looking at. This would be blue dotted. And these are going to be in green to represent my TPs. Green dotted and green dotted. Cool. All right, so that's a setup that I could be interested in. And then we had another level right here at the 64.98. Now, that's on the 15 minute. What I'd like to do now is, let me just take a look at price action from the 5 minute and see if we had anywhere where we broke structure. We did. Right here. Okay. And I do like that area. I do like that area actually a lot. But let me see how I can refine this now. So I think the better play would be is to make this a stop loss. So I can get the defense right here, and then I need to find a good entry, and I believe that's a nice entry right there with that ledge. That or this little ledge right here. So now what I like to do is, if I got areas that I'm kind of like mixed on as far as which one I would rather use as an entry, that's when I like to switch over to the book map and see what how volume is kind of stacking up. And it is kind of down there, so it might not. Okay, so a lot of volume at the 6501. So the 6501 is where I would rather have my entry. Perfect. So let's just say right above it, somewhere right around there. And now I know that I can make this into my TP1. Pretty simple. Okay, I use this as an entry. And then TP2 would be very easy too, right at this ledge. You can see it. Hopefully you guys can see it. You know, it's pretty simple spot to go down into. Put that in green. Dot it. Apply. All right, so those are two setups that I would be looking at here. 6517, 6502 to 6501, depending on what on how volume starts to stack up here. Let's take a look at the NQ. I think we can get rid of all of these. Get a nice clean chart. Actually, I could leave. No, that's the one. Oh yeah, this one already got tapped into. I believe it did. No, that did not get tapped into yet. No, it did. I think this is the one that I was saying how much it bothered me yesterday that I missed that trade with zero drawdown. Yes. Okay. So we had a setup here that we had formulated yesterday at the 23.812 high volume area. We'll keep that one on the charts. Let's switch over to the 15 minute. Let's grab some levels. All right, so we had a level here that started off with news. I don't put a lot of weight into those, but we'll mark it up here and see what. Okay, so we've got this level. We already have that trade set up here. So not much on the NQ. Let me just take a look at this 955 on the 5 minute. But again, the levels that are created by news, to me, are a little bit less powerful. Okay, 5 minute stays the same. Nothing. All right, makes it easy for me right now. The 23.812 is one that I'll be taking an eye out on. And then, of course, if anything develops during the day, you'll see that I come back on to the video and I will explain the setup, explain what I'm looking at for my entries and my TPs, and we can take it from there. So stick around for the trades. All right, so I was able to take a look at Bookmap where kind of orders are stacking up. So on this setup here on the ES, I've refined it. Let me bring up a Bookmap here as well, just to show you guys. But I've refined it for my initial entry to be at the 65.20. A lot of orders stacking up there. There's a ton of orders also stacking up at the 65.18. So this could be a possible second entry if I need to have it. Granted, it's only about a 1.5 of drawdown, so we'll see. I would need to have some pretty strong confirmation candle here. And then I feel that the stop loss at the 65.15 again would be protected pretty easily. TP1 and 2, again, super easy to get down to. It's all descending on the way up. So it would be, I think, a pretty easy target. And then if I bring over Bookmap, let's see. So remember the 65.20. 65.20's got 50 orders stacking up right here. And then the 65.18 has got 85 orders stacking up right here. So I would like to see the initial push. And you can see not much is left here. So it's pretty free-flowing to get to another area of rebalance, which would be around that 65.26, which coincides 65.25, which would coincide with my TP2. So hopefully that gives you guys a really in-depth view on how I am coming up with my levels, how I'm incorporating volume, and how I'm refining that with the real-time volume that's sitting there. So we'll see here what we can get. All right, really quickly, we have a little setup here that's forming on the NQ at the 23,934. Nice pocket of volume sitting right here. Sorry about this. They got another ghost line here that I can't correct right now. 23,940. What is this? 942 would be a TP1, and 947 would be my TP2, and my stop losses, I think, in a pretty protected area. So we'll see here. We got about 23 minutes to the market open, so anything right around the market open, I'm probably not going to be interested in this. But if it happens before that or after that, I'll take a look at it for a trade on the NQ. All right. All right, just want to give you a quick little update. Did not take this trade set up here at the 23,934. I let my members on my signal group also aware that I was invalidating this setup. The level here at the 934 started to weaken up a lot. You could just see it on the order book, and yes, could I have gotten TP1 and almost TP2? Yes, and even if I even put it here on, let's put it up here just so you guys can see what that's not what I wanted to do. Well, I guess you could see it on the screen. All right. So give them all my setup here, and then I told them I'm not interested in this one any longer at 836, and then at 841. Actually, what I said was TP1 would be the most likely target now. As I was just taking a look at order book, we swiped this TP1, and that took a big chunk of liquidity out of TP2. So I even said TP1 would be the most likely target now. And then at around 8:20, I told them that pause it until 5 or 7 minutes after the open. The algos are starting to kick on. And then I said I'm not interested in this one any longer at 8:36. And we then got the confirmation. Would have played out at TP1, but happy with the decision, not the drawdown I like to see. Good non-trade. So yeah, sometimes you're going to see trades go in your favor, but this drawdown here, that's not what I'm looking for. That's how I really judge my my positions and my entries. So it's just not what I was looking for. So we'll keep on looking. We've got a few setups here on the ES. It needs to have a pretty big dump down to get to the 65.20s, but what are we, 20 points away? So it's possible, but I'll keep looking here, see if I can find anything on the NQ. Stick around. All right, found another nice little pocket of volume right here at the 23,975. I'd like to see this get a little bit more defended as we get closer to TP1 to see if I'm interested on this. They would definitely need to see a confirmation candle for this trade. Probably a B setup right now. So I will look to see if it develops into an A or an A plus setup a little bit closer to price action. So we'll take a look. It's based off of a 5-minute level. Stick around. All right, nice simple trade there. As you can see, I got the opportunity on this trade to get a nice little confirmation candle. Yeah, I could have probably had a much better risk to reward, just taking the entry straight at the 975. Just an absolute, and they're still defending it, which is great. That's exactly what you want to see right after it hits a level. Is that the orders, the sell orders, continue to still start coming in, and once you see that, then you really start to get the conviction that, hey, this is definitely gonna go to TP1. So I would say really one mistake on this trade. Now I'm not sure. So my signal on my service was at 23,963.50 for a TP2. On this candle, which is the one where I closed out, let me just see what it got up to, what it got down to. Let's see, the low on this candle was 23,963.75. So you would have missed TP by one tick there, okay? And then you're kind of having to sit through this, not really drawdown, because it would have been right back to our entry. So maybe I could say, Rob, why didn't you stick around for the 963? Yeah, it could have got me an extra 3 points, but I took that on all of my accounts, and it was a nice win. The entry was really great. I'm super happy about the entry and the plan set up for sure. So let's see what else we can find here. All right, so we had a nice little rebound on the 15-minute Rob reversal. We did take a loser in our first setup. Was in profit pretty decently, but then we got that spike down and got stopped out. Took another setup, and that hit a 35-point profit. So that one's break even. Like I said, we took a loss in in gold, and that was by one tick, and we got knocked out. Oil, another one, man. This is just, oil's been. This came, on my chart it would have hit, but obviously just, missed by a tick right here at the take profit. So oil session 2 not looking the greatest. Let me go over a setup here that I am taking a look at. This is on the NQ. Really strong stack of volume. sitting at the 970s. Actually, the volume kind of dropped off. I think there's about 50 contracts sitting right here, which coincides pretty nicely with the volume profile. Got a good level of defense here for on my stop. And then I've got some pretty easy take profits. Maybe a little bit of resistance here at the 72. I could kind of foresee that. Maybe the 72 being a little bit of a difficulty. But in general, it's a free flow back to the upside. So we'll take a look. I'd definitely like to see some confirmation if I can get it on the NQ. Those are a little bit tougher to get confirmations on, but we'll see what we can do here. As far as the ES, I mean, we've just been ripping to the upside, so we got nothing. We got a few setups to the downside, but nothing close right now. So we'll keep monitoring here. We'll take a look and see what oil session 2 does, and see if there's another setup here before I call it a day. All right, stay around for the trades. All right, so I think I'm going to call it a day here. There is a setup. I'll show you guys here in a few minutes on the ES that looks very interesting. But well, I was excited. with the 15-minute Rob reversal. We took a loss, and then we took a winner, and then we took another trade here, and we got up. I don't know. I want to say 17 points in profit, and then we took another stop on that one. So two losers and a winner, and a loser in gold by a tick, and a loser in oil by a tick, because I think we were about a tick away from my take profit. Right, it was somewhere right around right here. It was a tick away from our TP, and then so the mechanical strategies kind of gave back everything that they won yesterday. Sorry about that. All right, let's switch over to the charts. All right, what am I looking at? So obviously you guys saw that really nice setup that I gave you guys, and another 8+ setup in profit again, which is really nice. ES. So ES we had mapped out. We got three. Yeah, we got 3 signals that we mapped out early this morning. 3 setups, and then found another setup here with an entry, first entry sitting at 65.57.50 on the order book. That area it's starting to build strength at the 57, and we've got a lot of orders sitting at the 65.55. So, and when I get 2 levels that are really close to each other, and because I'm all about drawdown, that's what I'm honestly looking for, the least amount of drawdown possible. And if I've got, let's just say, where's the text? Right here. Let's say I've got 50 contracts here stacked up, right? And I've got 100 sitting right here. All right, which is pretty much how it's playing out right now. Now I just kind of go through the progressions and I say, okay, well, what gives me my best risk to reward? The 65.55, yes, I can have probably very, very little drawdown, a better risk to reward on the targets that I'm looking at the 65.61 and the 65.64. But sometimes if you get 2 levels that are very close to each other, which in this case they're about 2 points, 2.5 points away from each other. I would hate for price action to come into my first level and then make the rejection that I'm looking for, and just to see my TP1 and TP2 get swiped. So I would rather position myself here, even though there's a little bit less contracts, half the contracts, that if I know that we break through this, I'm going to take about 1.5, 2 points of drawdown, and then to go to my TP1 and TP2. And in fact, if I take an entry here and I get a strong confirmation candle, I'll double my position size at that point. I'll go from 5 micros to 10 micros. In my live account, I would normally go in with a starter position of 1 E-mini contract and then add another one if a situation would happen like this. If I don't have a secondary entry, I'll usually go in with 2 E-mini contracts on my personal account. That's the way I'm trading since I can remember. But yeah, this is definitely a setup here that looks pretty simple. And the theme of the volume profile is always the same. It's always the same. If I'm looking for a long, I want to see a descending volume that's pushing out to the right. Okay? Where we meet resistance, we meet a big chunk of volume, and then what I want is a very easy, free-flowing market action to get back to my TP and my TP1 and 2. And then I want that layer of defense sitting between my entries and my stop loss. It is super, super simple. You combine that with live order book data, you get yourself a very, 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 very good winning strategy with very high probability setups, with very little drawdown. If you guys have been noticing, a lot of my trades come with very, very little drawdown. And that's kind of how I formulate my plans. So if it's 1:45, if we get this set up in the next 30 minutes, I will record it and I'll hopefully take it. If not, I'll wait to see if it's still available tomorrow. If not, I gotta let it pass. I can't be in front of the charts all the time. So that's it for today. Let's just take a look really quickly. With the winner from today on the discretionary volume-based strategy, which is me, we are currently up $448. Let's just call it $450. And 4 solid days of trading last week to start the challenge. No trades on Labor Day. Took 1 winner, 1 loser from minus 37 on Tuesday. Yesterday plus 108. Today plus 53 with that 1A plus setup that we took. Maybe possibly a second one. And the mechanical rule-based strategies are currently down $200. So we do have a bunch of setups in play here. We'll see what develops. Super excited. If you guys are enjoying the challenge, hopefully you might be learning some stuff. Hit the like button. It'll help the YouTube algorithm put me in front of you, and hopefully if you guys can continue watching that, I would super appreciate it. If you're looking to get funded, Funding Ticks, Tradeify, Take Profit Trader, Apex, you can use code TraderRob, get you the best discount. With that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care, everybody.